Hello, baseball fans. This is King Ikiboo coming to you live from the underground bunker. Today we're playing some 1990s baseball between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals. The Blue Jays are 1 year away or 1 year removed from winning the American League East, and they're going for a repeat here in 1990. The Kansas City Royals are an okay team, but they are just about to enter into a long drought that is still continuing to this day. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off and playing shortstop, Tony Fernandez. Batting second and playing center field, Mookie Wilson. Batting third, playing first base, Fred McGriff. Batting fourth and playing third base, Kelly Gruber. Batting fifth and playing right field, Junior Felix. Batting sixth and DHing, John Olerud. Batting seventh and playing left field, George Bell. Batting eighth and catching, Mr. Greg Myers. And batting ninth and playing second base, Nelson Lariano. The pitcher is the one and only Dave Stieb. For Kansas City, batting first, leading off and DHing, Gerald Perry. Batting second and playing third base, Kevin Seitzer. Batting third and playing first base, George Brett. Batting fourth in left field, Bo Jackson. Batting fifth and playing right field, Jim Eisenreich. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Kurt Stillwell. Batting seventh and playing center field, Willie Wilson. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Frank White. And batting ninth, the catcher, Mike McFarland. Sorry, Mrs. McFarland. Anyway, welcome to Royal Stadium for today's game between Toronto and Kansas City. Toronto has won 5 of their first 6 games of the season. Dave Stieb will start for Toronto. He's made 1 start on the season and is 1-0 with an ERA of 0. He'll be posed by Tom Flash Gordon. He'll be making his first start of the year at 68 degrees, wind speed 10 miles an hour, left to right. Let's play ball. And this is the latest version of the Action PC Baseball. I think this is the second game I've done. First one I put on YouTube. There's one sitting in my to-do list to put up yet. I haven't put up. So this is the first one you'll probably see of the new version. It has umpires. It has ambient sound. So we're going to play with that. So leading off is Tony Fernandez. This is the last year he played with Toronto until he was traded to San Diego in that famous deal with Fred McGriff for Joe Carter and Roberto Alomar. That worked out pretty well for the Blue Jays. I remember I was a kid and I called in a radio program after this trade was made, and I said it was one of the best trades ever in baseball. That was before the Blue Jays were so successful, and remember the radio host thought I was a little nuts. But I heard so many good things about Robbie Alomar and Joe Carter that I knew it was a good trade for the Blue Jays, and it turned out to be so. But I still like Tony Fernandez. I'm glad he came back for their second World Series in '93. And Fred McGriff was a tough person to give up, although they did have John Olerud ready to take over at first base. So let's get this started. And Fernandez is out. Here's Mookie Wilson, longtime Met. And here is Fred McGriff. He had 35 home runs, 88 RBIs, batted .300. And he strikes out. So Flash Gordon is off to a good start. Here's Dave Stieb. If it wasn't for Jack Morris, Dave Stieb would probably be the best pitcher of the 80s, I would say. He was an incredible pitcher. And I remember I saw him in Seattle. Used to go down there when the Blue Jays came to Seattle, and there was a lot of Canadians that went down to see the Blue Jays. And I remember he was signing autographs patiently. There was like 30 people around, and everybody was shouting out where they were from. And finally Dave Stieb looks up and says, "Why are you people telling me where you're from?" I thought that He made a good point. Why were we telling him? He doesn't really care where we're from. Just because he's from a Canadian team, most players are Americans. He probably never heard of half the towns. So he made a good point. He was doing a good thing signing autographs. And we should leave it at that. Here's Gerald Perry. One down, Kevin Seitzer. Hope the video audio is good, but this sound is not too loud. And here is George Brett. It's probably his last really good year. He was the batting champion in 1990 in real life, and he was the only man to have batting titles in 3 decades. There's a fly ball to center. Mookie Wilson gets there. 1-2-3 go the Royals. Here's Kelly Gruber. And he walks, first base runner that the Blue Jays or the Royals have. And here is the one-year wonder, Junior Felix. I remember liking him a lot. I liked his batting stance, and he had surprising power. This was his good year, and let's hope that he has a good year for the Jays in this game. He's off to a decent start. He's batting .269 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Gruber has a 74% chance of stealing second. It's just not good enough for me. I've been thrown out too many times. 78. They're tempting me. Let's go for it. And he doesn't get a good jump. So we won't chance it again. Oh, 95. We have to go. He's going for it. Throw. Safe at second base is Gruber. And he still has a 70% chance of going to third, but we are not going to risk it any further. Here's a base hit for Felix. 55% chance. No way with nobody out. No way. So here is John Olerud. I think this was his rookie year. He always was able to get on base. Probably didn't have the power of Fred McGriff. But we loved him anyway. And he had that incredible year in 1993. Strike. 1-1 to Olerud. And he flies out, throws the first, and he gets back in time. That's one thing about this game, these line outs to the outfield. You rarely see the opportunity to tag and score on those. So now we have 1 out. Here's George Bell. His last year with the Blue Jays. He was off to the Cubs as a free agent after this season. Strike. It really was declining at this point. Probably his worst year as a Jay. Only a .303 on-base percentage, .422 slugging percentage, 21 home runs. No wonder the Jays did not re-sign him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a pop fly, and yes, he does not come through. So Gruber has been stuck on third with 2 batters now. Here's Greg Myers, the catcher. Strike. And foul. 2 strikes on Myers. Ball 1. Ball 2. 2-2. Struck him out. The Royals are out of the inning. So now here is the finalist for the greatest athlete of all time as per Grantland. Bo Jackson. I have not heard who won between him and Jim Brown, I think, was the other finalist. But my vote is for Bo Jackson. And if I had to guess, he'll probably win. Struck him out. Here's Eisenreich. Good hitter. Probably most noted for being on the Phillies team that were playing against the Blue Jays in '93 in the World Series. Kurt Stillwell. Easy play to Gruber. And that's all for Kansas City. Here's Nelson Lariano. He strikes out. Back to Tony Fernandez. He strikes out. Gordon has struck out 5 already. And Mookie Wilson grounds out weakly to Frank White. And that's it for the Jays. Here's Willie Wilson. Yeah, he was an incredible outfielder for Kansas City. All those stolen bases, triples. Frank White was also probably the best second baseman they ever had, although he was a shadow of his former self in 1990 with only batting .216, 2 home runs, but he still was very good defensively, and he draws a walk. First base runner for the Royals, and Mike McFarland, the catcher, strike one. Steve has his first base runner today, has to worry about 2 strikes. Ground ball, Gruber, 1, 2, double play. So he's faced the minimum still. He's not going for. He still has opportunity for one of his no hitters. He had how many one hitters that were no hitters that were broken up in the 9th inning? Seemed like so many, and he finally got that elusive no hitter, I believe, in 1990. And boy, Gordon gets his 6th strikeout of the year of the game. Yes, of the year, because it's his first start of the year. Here's Gruber. Gordon has it going. And a line out to Bo Jackson. Here's Junior Felix, the man with the only hit of this ball game so far. And he strikes out. 7 strikeouts for Flash Gordon. Gerald Perry, the top of the lineup, and he gets the first hit for Kansas City, so we will not have a no-hitter here today. And the fans are getting ramped up here. Here's Kevin Seitzer. Batted .275 in 1990. Ball 1 to Seitzer. Here's a ground ball. Could be 2. 1, 2. Second double play for the Jays here in this ball game. And here's the legendary George Brett. What a great ball player he was. And he gets a base hit. 2-out base hit. It's always good to have someone on for Bo Jackson. I advise you to watch that documentary made by ESPN. It was an excellent documentary on the greatest athlete who has ever lived. Strike 2 on Jackson. Here's a ball, base hit. George Brett goes to 3rd. And Eisenreich is up. Steve, let's see if he can get out of this inning. And Nelson Liriano throws him out. 3 hits for the Royals in that inning, but no runs because of the double play. Here's Olerud. Let's see if he can make contact. He does, but he lines out to Wilson. 1 down. George Brett. He gets plunked. If that was real, George Brett probably would be charging the mound, you would think. No. He gets a bad rap. Anyway, here's Myers. 1 down. No chance for a stolen base. Maybe we will hit and run. Let's see. See if we can strike. No. Let's try that hit and run. And it pays off. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. But it's Nelson Liriano, the weakest link on the team. He's only batting .143 so far this season. Let's see if he can make contact here. With Gordon, that is not a given. Could be 2. We'll send him home, but no, Liriano hustles down, and he gets on, and the run is scored, and Toronto leads this one in the 5th, 1-0. Good play by Liriano, hustling down that line, not breaking up, but preventing the double play. Here's one of the classiest Blue Jays ever, Tony Fernandez. And just an incredible defensive shortstop as well. 2 strikes on Fernandez. And that should be easy, and it is. But the damage is done. Jays have a lead. Steve is ahead. Let's see what he can do with it. Here's a fly ball by Stillwell. Deep, and Mookie gets to it. 1 down. Here's Willie Wilson. Liriano throws him out. 2 down. Frank White. Hard hit ball to Gruber, but he's out. We're to the top of the 6th. 1-0 Jays. Here's Mookie. His most famous moment definitely was in the 1986 World Series on a wild pitch or pass ball jumping out of the way and then hitting that grounder to Billy Buckner. Fred McGriff hits it. Easy fly ball to Eisenreich, and 2 down. Gruber. He hits it hard. Let's see if it's out of here. No, it's caught. right at the wall. Bo Jackson makes the play. And we're at the bottom of the 6th now. Here's Mike McFarland. He is 0 for 1. Fernandez. Ooh! And the catcher hustles down the line, and he beats out the infield hit, and there's a man on. Nobody out for Gerald Perry. Base hit for Perry. The Royals have something going on here in the 6th, and they have their best hitters coming up. Will Seitzer bunt? I don't think so. Strike 1. Ball 1. Steve has thrown 68 pitches. Strike. 2 strikes on Seitzer. Struck him out. But now here are the 2 best hitters. George Brett, Bo Jackson. Brett is 1 for 2. Ball 1. He is such a difficult out, and Steve is pitching him very carefully. 3 balls, no strikes. Strike 1. Fouled it off. We have a full count. And he walks him. Bases loaded for Bo Jackson. 1 out. Ball 1. Ball 2. We don't dare throw an aggressive pitch or he'll hit it to Missouri. I guess they're in Missouri. Guess they'll hit to Kansas. Ball 3. Oh, come on. You can't walk Bo Jackson. Strike. What's happened to Dave Steve's control? Strike 2. He hits it hard, deep. And it's off the wall. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, that was bad. I meant to hit. No. Bases clearing double. Kansas City leads. And I meant to leave him at second base. At 99%. Was not thinking. I'm sorry, Blue Jay fans. Now Eisenreich can easily get Bo Jackson home. Steve, what's happened to him? Let's go talk to him. What has gone wrong? He'll probably tell me to get the something back into the dugout, but he's very strong. It says, well, then throw the ball over the plate. Strike. See, it was my managing, my meeting on the mound that made him throw that strike. Strike 2. Needs a strikeout here. Struck him out. Okay, still well. Strike 1. Look at that. I should have went to the mound earlier. Ball 1. Ball 2. Come on, Steve. Ground ball. Fernandez out of the inning. But 3 runs for Kansas City. Highlighted by the 3-run double by Bo Jackson. So let's see if the Jays can come back in this one. Here's Junior Felix. Base hit. And now brings up John Olerud. Strike. 93 pitches for Flash Gordon. Strike 2 on Olerud. Oh, it could be 2. And it is. Here's Bell. High fly ball to Wilson. Caught. So we're in the bottom of the 7th. Kansas City 3, Toronto 1. Steve looks okay. He had that horrible inning last time. And looks like he's back in the groove ever since the mound visit. Here's McFarland. He started all that off last inning. Strike 1 to Perry. 104 pitches. He's reached his limit. We'll let him finish this hitter, I guess. Strike. Ground ball to Tony, and the umpire said he was out, and we'll take it. So that's it for Kansas City, and we're now in the top of the 8th. Here's Greg Myers. Hard hit ball right to Brett, but he makes the play. And here's a reliever, Mark Davis. Mark Davis, I believe he was the Cy Young Award winner in 1989, signed the big contract with Kansas City, and went on to post a 5.11 ERA for Kansas City in his first year with the Royals. And so I don't think Kansas City's signed anybody since. They probably have, but yeah, was not a good investment. Okay, so here's Nelson Liriano. Let's see, should we bring somebody else in? We need base runners. We have Rance Mulliniks. He's probably the best. Let's see what his numbers are, his platoon numbers. Very good against lefties, so we should not bring in Rance Mulliniks. Probably just go ahead and leave in Liriano, I think. I don't think there's much else better. And he gets a base hit. He rewards our confidence. Okay, Tony, let's keep it going. We need a couple runs. Ball 1 to Fernandez. Strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ground ball. What was that? Just a high chop. Seitzer fields it and does not bother throwing. So 2 men on with 1 out. Mookie Wilson up. Ball 1 to Mookie Wilson. Here's a fly ball. Bo Jackson. No, it's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mookie Wilson. This one should be caught by Eisenreich, and it is, and we will not send him to third. And here's Jeff Montgomery to pitch to Fred McGriff. Jeff Montgomery is their closer. They're bringing in their closer in a little early, but I don't blame him. He had a great year, and McGriff is a good hitter. Hits it hard, base hit. That scores. Liriano. Fernandez goes to third, and it's a 1-run ball game. 2 outs. Kelly Gruber, who had a great year in 1990 with 118 RBIs. Hopefully he gets one here. Hits it hard. Hits it deep. It is off the wall. 1 run scores. Hopefully 2 runs score. They do, and the Jays take the lead 4-3. All this off the closer, Jeff Montgomery. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it. And here is our favorite rookie, Junior Felix. Ball 1 to Felix. Ball 2. Hits it hard, but foul. 2-1. Ball 3 to Felix. I don't remember him being able to walk very often. It's those typical Dominican, let's hit the ball to get off the island people. That's what they say anyway. And he strikes out. So Steve is tired. So we have Seitzer, Brett, and Jackson. So we are in the 8th. We will not bring Henke. Let's bring in his sidekick, Dwayne Ward. So Ward is going to be the next pitcher for... He usually pitched the 8th inning. And Henke the 9th. So hopefully we'll follow suit here today. Dwayne Ward, 3.45 ERA. He can strike out a batter or 2. Hits it hard, gives up the base hit to Kevin Seitzer. That brings up George Brett. Oh, we got to keep him close. He's got a 60% chance of stealing. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, let's focus on Brett. Ball 1 to Brett. Strike. Strike 2 on Brett. Struck him out. That doesn't happen very often. And here's the big run producer for the Royals today, Bo Jackson, 2 for 3. And he had that double, scoring all 3 runs in the last inning. Oh, actually, it was 2 innings ago. Sorry. Strike. 1-1 to Bo Jackson. Strike 2 to Bo Jackson. Struck out Bo Jackson. And here is a guy who's never been an easy out, Jim Eisenreich. Just an underrated hitter in my opinion. But he's got 2 strikes on him. Dwayne Ward is throwing smoke here today. Hits it hard but foul. Ball 1-2 to Eisenreich. 2-2 to Eisenreich. Ball 3 to Eisenreich. And he walked him. That brings up Kurt Stillwell. He is 0 for 3. That's dangerous. It's always dangerous to come up and face a guy who's 0 and 3. Ball 1. Fans are getting excited here. Strike! There's a little fly. I don't think it's going to be caught. Gruber does not get there. Foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Kurt Stillwell. Struck him out. Inning over. So, with a little bit of nervousness, Dwayne Ward does the job. Here's Olerud. And he walks. Some insurance would be nice. George Bell. Strike. Really can't depend much on Bell. Unlike those earlier years. Hits it hard, but foul. 2 strikes on Bell. Ball 1. And that's out of play. Still 1 and 2. Struck him out. And it brings up Greg Myers. Hits it hard and a base hit. Going to third is Olerud. Okay. Lariano's had a decent day today, but let's see if we can bring someone in for him. The before mentioned Rance Molnix, although he hit much better against left-handers, still is okay. It's time for Molnix. I think we're going to do that, so let's see if we can get driving these runs. Rance Molnix and his distinctive batting stance are up here in the top of the 9th inning. Ball 1. Ball 2. 1 and 2. Or 2 and 1, sorry. Ball 3 and 1 to Molnix. And we'll send him home, but it could be a double play. No, he throws to the first. And we get some insurance. Rance Molnix does the job. Here's Larry McWilliams. Interesting choice. A 9.72 ERA. I guess they don't want to keep using the closer and not have him available for tomorrow. Let's see if we can take advantage. They intentionally walk Fernandez to get to Mookie Wilson. He's 0 for 4. Strike 1 to Wilson. Ball 1, sorry. 1 and 1. And he throws a wild pitch. So 2 men in scoring position now for Mookie Wilson. Hits it hard, but right to Frank White, and we know what that means. So the Jays get an insurance run in the 9th. Manny Lee's going to come in to play second base. And no, even though Ward seems strong, it's time for the Terminator. Tom Henke. Tom Henke going for the save. He had 32 saves in 1990. And the bottom of the lineup for the Royals. Hits it hard. Base hit. Extra bases for Wilson. He's on second. Tying run comes up in the person of Frank White. They're going to leave him in. I would have probably pulled him, but hey, that's why they don't pay me. He gets a base hit. Look at that. They're going to send him. We are not going to throw home this time. We're going to concede the run. Steve Jeltz is the runner at first. Mike McFarland, who's 2 for 3. Henke is having some trouble. That insurance run looms large right now, but strike 1 to McFarland. Another base hit. All right, 2 men on, nobody out. Gerald Perry. The go-ahead runs are on base. Henke is struggling. Should we see what's wrong with him? It worked for Steve. Let's see. Hey, big guy, what's going on? Yeah, well, yeah, okay. You want to keep pitching? Okay, we'll let you, but let's get your act together. Gerald Perry, strike. Ball. Ball, full count. Can't afford another walk. Struck him out. But here come the big boys. Seitzer, Brett, and Jackson. Nothing can be easy in this game, I tell ya. Strike 2 on Seitzer. Oh. And it's out of play. Ball 1 and 2 on Seitzer. Ball 2 on Seitzer. Oh, stays alive. Double play would be so sweet at this point. Struck him out, so we still have to face George Brett. It comes down to this. 2 men on, 2 out. Power versus power. Tom Henke versus George Brett. Ball 1 to Brett. Jackson looms large. Is a fly ball. Mookie Wilson makes the play. Game over. Toronto Blue Jays hang on for a 5-4 victory. The winner, Dave Steve. He's 2-0. Jeff Montgomery is tagged with a loss. And the MVP, Kelly Gruber, who was 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. So, sports fans, thanks for tuning in. This was a Canadian version for all you Canadian baseball fans. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it brought back some memories. Good days. Although this year, for the Blue Jays, has promised to return to those glory days, perhaps. Hopefully it does. But hope you enjoyed a blast from the past and Toronto Blue Jay victory. This is King Ikeboo signing off. So long, everybody.